Hey guys, insight number 5. So this is the last of the introductory pages before we hit actual First Nephi, which is hiding there between 2 more tip-ins. If you do want these tip-ins, don't miss this product. Don't have to get them. I just really like them. I think they're full of information and they fit so nicely right into the book. Sometimes I make my own, but getting them on this lovely thin paper with everything already done, kind of a no-brainer if you want that. So here we go. Makeup and structure of the Book of Mormon, right there. And it's just a brief explanation of like what's you're going to find in here, in the way that has been compiled, translated, and put together in like the chapter verse form. So remember, the first ones, just like the Bible, weren't broken up with verses and chapters. It was literally like reading a novel book, and hard to find when you're trying to reference where you're going to be. You'd be like, oh, it's the 30th paragraph of this book, and then someone's going to go through and they started numbering them, so then they just started printing them numbered. A lot easier. Scripture Central and the We Believe app has got some really good stuff for Book of Mormon explanation and plates. There's some really good apps out there. There's some great websites. There's some great people you can follow on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. If you've got a favorite, drop it in the comments. I've got some that I watch, but there's so many. Just pick what works for you. You don't have to watch all of them. Pick what works for you, your situation, your calling. Something that you're going to get the most out of. Don't overwhelm yourself with it. Just focus on some key things. And if you want to do none of that and just read this, great. Read this, use the Come Follow Me manual because it's awesome. It's just one manual this year to remind you of that for everyone. It has some really great, if you're in the book, I haven't seen an actual manual yet because they haven't got here in New Zealand. Not far away, I hope, because we're starting, we've just started. Anyway, we'll do our best with it, right? You can still access them online, and online there's links at the end of each lesson to things for children, for youth, and ideas for adults. There's so much in there that you shouldn't have a problem teaching this at all. You don't need different manuals. This is just fine for everybody. Lastly, for deeper context, how the Book of Mormon is made up. Each printed edition will differ in notes at the end of this page. So this page, it says about this edition, and now each of those will be different depending on how old your Book of Mormon is. I have some really older ones. I should have pulled them out for you guys. I've got one of those fancy gold cover ones. I've got the old blue cover with the gold Moroni on it. I've got Japanese. I have Māori. Great. Kind of a little collector. I think there's people out there that are bigger collectors. I haven't seen an original edition Book of Mormon. Photos of one, but not an original one. I have seen and held a second edition. That was pretty cool. Still had a really good feel. It was just like, oh my gosh, the hands this has been through and the history of it was really cool. So, probably a lot of you have seen the first edition. I know there was one available. I didn't quite get to the bookstore when I was in the States. There's a bookstore, I think, Mooney's or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, have this first edition that you can go look at and old Bibles and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, that would have been cool. But I only found out about it in the last few days and just didn't get time. Something to do next time, right? Yeah. Anyway. Alright, so basically there's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the page. There's plates of Nephi, plates of Mormon, plates of ether, plates of brass, and it tells you what each of them are. And then it talks about the 15 main parts of division known as, with one exception, as books. So there's different Nephis, there's different people, the names get repeated. It goes through each of those things and tells you the approximate dates, those kind of things. You get that. But is there anything on here you learnt this week? Is there anything in this that stood out to you that you were like, oh, I didn't know the Book of Mormon was comprised of 4 groups of plates, or I didn't know that they were all called books except one of them was called the Word. There you go, the Word of Mormon. So the rest of them are books. Word of Mormon, now that's got a deeper meaning, and we'll get to that when we talk about the word, historically, how that goes and how that's got more power to it. It's like a seal on the book. It's pretty cool. So just some different things in there that, like, what sticks out to you? What's going, oh, I didn't know that, or I wasn't so sure of that, or I'd never thought of that. Probably there. And have you got any questions to take into your study this year from these introductory pages? Have you got anything that's, oh, I want to know more about that? The other thing I was going to suggest to you too, which is actually really helpful, is the 1828 Webster's Dictionary, because that's what Joseph Smith used to translate words. That's his day and age of speaking. English has changed somewhat over 200 years. Right? It's changed from generation to, like, people older than me and people younger than me I have as friends, and they use the words in different contexts, and it's like translating a different language in my brain. It's not always easy. So 1828 Webster's Dictionary. Now, they're expensive to buy. You don't have to buy one. There's an app you can get. If you're stuck with that, maybe ask someone who knows apps, or children, grandchildren. Usually the younger the better, right? I found one, quite nice one. I've got an Android phone. I'm sure there's some lovely Apple ones. But that was really, really helpful. And you can just look up that particular word, and it gives you what it meant in that time, in Joseph's time, because it doesn't always mean the same now. One prime example is chariots, as we see that in the Book of Mormon, probably meaning like more of a litter or like a carrying platform. So not quite the chariot we would see in Rome. So there's just some differences in there. So some good things to look up and see what they meant, just to, help clarify your understanding. So that's one thing I will suggest there. But there's a plethora of different resources we can go to, and which ones are you going to pick? There's some great study books. Like, what's your favorite, and what has come from this week that you weren't aware of that you're looking forward to learning more about, or what some questions you have going into this year? Drop them in the comments. Let's discuss, and I look forward to a great study of Come Follow Me. Right now, I'm going to wish you a good weekend. Still 2023 when I'm recording this, so hopefully you've had a good New Year's coming. It's about to come up. I'd say today is I'm going to do an extra day's work in the temple because someone's away and we're busy. So I'm going to go do that. I'll be there very shortly. And try not to think too much about the fact that it's been 18 years since my grandfather passed away. So I love that man. It's one of the reasons I do this. He's one of the reasons that brought the Book of Mormon into my life. Him and my nana were the ones that gave me my first copy of the Book of Mormon. The angels that introduced me Earthside, at least. As I said already, them and probably President Benson, who encouraged me to read it. But my grandfather especially, would always discuss Book of Mormon things to try and get that understanding. He didn't have great schooling, and he wanted to learn, and he was a great example of taking it upon you to learn yourself, and he would have loved doing Come Follow Me at home. It would have been one of the highlights of his week, so I try and embrace that as well. So to try and help his legacy, because it has been 18 years today since he passed away, and I miss him every day. So I already had a good cry about it at Christmas. Don't really want to get into it today, but it'll be such a privilege to go to the temple and be able to serve there, where he spent a lot of time as well. So invite you, please read the introductory pages, enjoy it, embrace it, and we will have an awesome year of Come Follow Me here. So stay safe out there. I love you guys. Get your Book of Mormons out. Let's get into this. And I'll see you next week with First Nephi. Yay. Bye.